Welcome back. Back in the kitchen with Chef Ken Hall. He's an area chef, been at several area restaurants, and he's also a dad and father, and I guess a husband, I should say, both, all three. So, you know, you guys are busy people trying to get dinner on the table for your family, trying to watch a buck or two, and I love to see what chefs make at home, you know, not in their fancy restaurants, but with, you know, quick, easy, and inexpensive ingredients at home.
Right, and the one thing I like pork, but I like the lean pork. You know, in the summer when we've got the grill, different story. This time of year I like the lean pork, and right now your pork loin is your most inexpensive.
Okay.
I think we paid $2.31 a pound for the whole pork loin. So what I did was I left it in the bag, but I cut about ½ inch chops.
Okay, so cut your own chops and you can really save some money that way.
Exactly, and what I like to do is I like to pound them right in a bag.
So these are basically boneless pork chops that we're making really, really thin, so they're going to cook up nice and quick. They're going to be tender as all get out.
Well, and then one piece turns into a meal by the time you bread it.
Sure. I never thought about doing that, but I think my kids would be all over that.
Well, and you could do this with your chicken breast too. And then if you wanted to even turn a healthier line to it, you could do it with turkey. You know, because they sell the turkey breast now. You can do cutlets and do the same thing.
What a great idea.
So then for the breading that I have.
Should I heat some oil in the pan here?
Yes, please.
Okay, got a big skillet. We're going to bread these boneless pork chops. And then over here we used mushrooms, onion, and asparagus in the earlier recipe, the pot pie, so we're turning that into a side for this dish later in the week. So just asparagus, mushrooms, onions, and a little chicken stock. Is that what you've got going on?
I've got beef broth.
Okay.
And that's just so that we can kill two birds with one stone. We have that cooking. We'll get these breaded and cooking. We'll add it all to the same pan and create our dish that way. So what I've got over here is just seasoned flour, salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder. And then the eggs, I've got 2 eggs in here, and I added about 2 tablespoons of water.
Okay.
And the reason I did that was just to thin it down so it's not too goopy.
Okay.
And then in our breadcrumbs, I've got breadcrumbs plus Parmesan cheese. So it's 50-50. I put the grated Parmesan cheese right into there.
So this is, you know, we got a can of Parmesan cheese laying around. Easy. All the stuff I have. I've got flour, I've got eggs.
Well, and a lot of times you'll always have that half a container of breadcrumbs in the refrigerator from a dish, or in the pantry from a dish.
Okay, so now hot oil into our big pan.
And it'll start to sizzle just a little bit, and then once we get all 3 in there, we'll add a little more oil to it. And then the trick is with this is you always want a wet hand and a dry hand whenever you're breading. So you keep one hand out of the egg, so that you don't end up with clumpy fingers.
I always set out to do that, Ken, and then at the end I was like, shoot, I was supposed to not do that.
I am exactly the same way. I'll wash my hands real quick.
You bet. I love the idea of pounding these chops for a couple of reasons. One, as you said, all of a sudden one pork chop looks a lot bigger, so it's going to look bigger on the plate and look meal sized. 2, they're going to cook up in half the time, you know, and 3, you know, it's going to have some nice crunch to it, and it's going to be nice and tender. Sometimes pork can be chewy and you know. I like the idea of this. I think my kids would be all about it. They love pork, and never thought to do that. And
then they brown nice and quick. And then these you could throw them in the oven at this point. Turn your pan down, let it cook a little bit at a lower temp for a little bit longer. You could even use the skillet. A lot of the new stoves now have that griddle plate built into the stovetop. This is what I do. We do this with venison, with chicken, with pork, whatever.
Yum. All right, we're going to let this cook up, and we'll finish off the dish. Are the vegetables actually going to go in?
Yep, we're going to pour it right over the top, and then let the sauce cook so you can dump those right in right now.
All right, we'll be